Hello everybody, this is Stephen Howson, and do you know what? I was struggling for what to do on a video today. My preview is not going to be out till tomorrow. I'm going to green screen it against this. This obviously isn't green screen, but right here, just above view, I have a, and do you know what? I'll just show you. I have a green screen rolled up that I use for MMA latest stuff mostly, or playing FIFA. And then I got a couple of messages about this proposed restructuring of the Football League. So I've just been reading up on it. And I was going to talk about it for definite, because there's nothing else really to talk about tonight. And then I saw the proposal that... Oh, it's not in the proposal, but it's a point that the extra teams for this proposed league, which I'll get into in a second, could come from Premier League B teams. Now, I written an article on MUFC Latest about B teams. Unfortunately, when we changed the website, we chose about 2,500 articles to come over to the new site, and unfortunately, it was a time cut off really. We didn't bring over my B team article. I think it's worth a video. So do you know what? Next week I will do a video entirely on B teams and what I think they can offer. So I'll only skim across that this week, but next week I'll definitely do a B team. If I forget, just remind me, send me a tweet. So, let's fill in the background then. At the moment, there's 72 Football League clubs, 20 Premier League clubs. That gives us a total of 92 professional, right? And I do that in quotations because people are professional, conference North and South, and lower. Fully professional in some instances, not fully professional in some instances. The likes of Salford are paying very handsomely. FC United paying very handsomely. There's a couple of big clubs down below that level that are essentially professionals. Excuse me. So, 92 professional clubs is what the branding is. Now, bringing more teams into that, an extra 8 teams, creating a third league, dropping the Championship, League 1, League 2 down to only 20 sides, and restructuring the way their fixtures are played, less midweek fixtures and stuff like that. Bringing it in line with the Premier League sort of style of fixtures. And making it more streamlined. So 100 clubs, which means that the 92 club that I was about to join, probably before this is implemented, is going to be the 100 club, which I think sounds better. But I'm a bit disappointed at that because I wanted to be able to complete the 92 club. So I'm going to have to get a wiggle on, because this, I believe, could come in the 2019 and 2020 season. Should be enough for me to get the, that's 3 seasons, isn't it? Yeah, is it? 17, 18, 19, it's actually 4 seasons. No, it was start that season, so I've got 3 seasons. I've got 3 seasons to get all the 92 clubs done before I'll have to flip it and make it the 100 club. Now, here's where it becomes interesting, because the key points from the proposal are promotion and relegation from the Premier League is going to stay the same. No relegation to the National League in the 17-18 season, which means that that's obviously the teams that are going to be retained in there. And then clubs need to decide. This is the next step now. Clubs, this has been proposed. The clubs now need to decide how this is going to come. And my initial thought when I heard it was they would just promote a few extra teams, retain a few that's in there, and just sort of like reshuffle the cards a little bit to make it 3 lots of 20. However, having Championship, League 1, League 2 and now League 3 ahead of the Championship, the conference, gives you the opportunity for these B League teams to come in. Now there's always been the argument for me, and I have to credit Chris with this, the cameraman from Full Time Devils, he mentioned this afternoon. The extra teams could be Rangers and Celtic. Now that was one of the reasons why I was going to make the video in the first place, because I think that's very interesting and it's a good topic to explore. But can you imagine, let's say by the time this comes in, the 4 teams that are ready to come into it could be FC United, could be Salford, could be Rangers, could be Celtic, could be United B, City B, probably Arsenal and Chelsea, because I think they're the ones with the squad size. You know, and arguably Liverpool and Spurs could be in the mix, but I think those 4, City, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, they're the ones with the massive youth academies. They're the ones with the resources. They're the ones that you would expect to want something along these lines. So let's just say what if. Now I was arguing that I think Rangers and Celtic wouldn't be happy going in League 3, which is essentially conference level. Chris thought they would be. Now, I've got no issue with them going in that sort of level because I think the Scottish Premiership, besides those two, is probably a mixture of League 1, League 2 standard. I actually only think Rangers and Celtic are Championship level. I do not think they would survive in the Premier League if they just came straight into the Premier League. Now, you can give me all the arguments you want about them being massive clubs and this, that and the other, but guess what? Newcastle is a massive club. Aston Villa is a massive club. Nottingham Forest is a massive club. And the latter two of those, like Celtic, have got European Cups to their name. Doesn't mean jack shit. Look at where Forest are now. Look at where Leeds United are now. That is, for me, what Rangers and Celtic are, and that is where they would be. They would be somewhere in the mix of those two. Now, that's not to say with the influx of money that they would get from competing in something like the Premier League means that they wouldn't be able to strengthen, because they would. But at the present stage, I think they would. If I put them straight into the Championship this season, I don't think they're getting out. Not at the first attempt. Maybe in a few years, maybe, but the Championship is an absolute cutthroat league, and it's all well and good saying, well, Celtic always do fairly decent in Champions League competition. Yeah, but that's cup final stuff. They can take the week off, concentrate on the Champions League, and they're still not really progressing to the latter stages, are they? Often don't get out of the group. When they do, they're knocked out in the first round. It's not exactly like they're dominating, they're getting to quarters and semi-finals. If they was, I'd have a different attitude to it, but they're not. So I think that the Scottish League is extremely poor. Now this, if they came in, I think would probably kill Scottish football. You'd be looking at the likes of the Welsh Premier League, TNS, that sort of level for the rest of Scotland. Unless the Scottish FA implemented something where they was like, no, listen, you lot need to start spending your money on your academies, and you lot need to stop looking to Europe for cheap imports, right? Let's forget what's going on now. We're not trying to compete with Rangers and Celtic and the obvious finances that them guys have. Let's concentrate on a better Scottish league for Scottish football, and I think you might be able to see some really good Scottish footballers come out of that, maybe. So anyway, let's get back to Rangers and Celtic if they came in. I think if they did come into League 3, they'd probably win it, or be very competitive in there, right at the top of that league. Into League 2, probably exactly the same in League 2. And I think that's going to be more of what they're used to, the way they can just turn up, cruise in, knock a couple of wins out, probably get quite far in the FA Cup, in the League Cup, and that's when we'd start to see where they're really paired up against. All of the teams in League 2, League 3 and possibly League 1 would probably vote to allow Rangers and Celtic into this pyramid because of the massive attendance and boost in attendances that they're going to get. And I think the same with the B teams. All right, maybe not City so much, but definitely Manchester United. If Manchester United had a B team, can you imagine how well supported that B team would be if we had our own little mini stadium for them as well? This is incredibly exciting, I think. And then you have the likes of potentially FC United and Salford and some of the other teams that have come out of the Football League as well. Opportunity for those to jib back in and get involved in this now 100-team structure. And I think going forward, this would be fantastic. And I think the B team thing alone would be exciting. And the fact they've left the door open for this, potentially, excites the shit out of me. Because I think the crux of the argument and the crux of the video that I'm probably going to do next week is that you need 100 matches for me between 16 and 22, probably 23. Those first 100 matches are going to dictate where you end up as a footballer, where your ability lies. The under-21 league is shit, really, in terms of competitiveness. It's a nice idea, but it's not cutthroat enough. Imagine, if you can, you're a 16-year-old Manchester United player. Right now it's May. You're just about to go into the under-18s next year. You're finishing as a senior under-16. Next year you're going to be a first-year apprentice. So let's treat this as a 6-year apprenticeship, okay? Let's say first-year apprenticeship with a club with a B team, assuming Manchester United. You want to be trying to break into that under-18 side. And the goal of being in the under-18s at Manchester United should be competitive in the league, try and win the FA Youth Cup. If I'm in charge of United, if I'm in charge of the FA, if I'm looking at the elite player performance pathway, that's the sort of thing that I'm going to try and to be saying to these lads. Listen, here's the focus for this year for you. Try and break into the team, and the team is looking to be competitive in the league and have a good run in the FA Youth Cup. Second year apprentice, you should be looking to be a first team, first choice, under-18s player. Maybe occasionally drafted up into the B team occasionally, but your focus is competitive in the league, have a good run at the FA Youth Cup. Use this 2-year apprenticeship to really find your feet, because next year you're in with the big leagues and you're going to have people looking to take a swing at you. 3rd year apprenticeship, this is where you join as a junior, as a rookie, as a freshman, whatever you want to call it, in the B team. And the B team, you've either got 3 or 4 years. That's going to take you to an under 21 with 3 years, or an under 22 with 4 years. Okay, so your 1st year apprenticeship in the B team. Now this, you're going to be 18 years old. This is when you want to start being, if you're good, you want to be breaking onto the bench at this age. If you're average, if you're middle of the road, you just want to be being involved in training and develop and hone your craft. Yeah. 2nd and 3rd year, this is when you want to start really getting into the team, starting as many games as possible, looking maybe 25, 30 matches in both of those years. Yeah. And then the final 1 or 2 year, you want to be a first choice, ever present in those sides. That's going to give you your 100 matches grounding in professional football. Now let's assume United go in there in the 1st year, we win it, we end up in League 2, and we hover around, say, the 8th to 10th in League 2. That's going to be incredibly competitive. Now, the speed might not be there, the skill level might not be there of the Premier League, but you're going to come up against tactically astute teams. You're going to come up against wily old ex-Premier League players that are going to give you a hard time. You're going to come up against Premier League footballers in their 30s, maybe even 40s, late 30s, that are going to do things to you that you're not prepared for, and you've not learned playing against other under 18s. This is where your on-the-job training comes in. This is where you're going to come up against players like the likes of Dean Windass, who are going to give you unbelievable amounts of shit. And if you're a good top-level 17, 18, 19, 20-year-old footballer, this is where you stand up. And this is where you show your worth. And when a first team manager's coming down to check on your progress, he can see how you're reacting to a proper stadium with hostile away fans instead of a couple of polite home fans just giving it a bit of golf clapping every time something happens. But teams that fucking hate Manchester United, teams that Look at Leeds. You could be playing against Leeds. Now, whether it says B next to Manchester United or it says Manchester United and that is it, Leeds United, Ellen Road would be a fucking hostile place for you to go to as an 18, 19, 20-year-old. You're going to be involved in a competitive game of football. You're going to be involved with fans spitting at you, chanting all sorts of shit, probably Munich, knowing Leeds, giving it big time to you. Now, how you cope with that is going to stand you in excellent stead. And it's better than going out on loan, because when you go out on loan, you're not in the Manchester United frame of mind. You're not coming into training every day, training with the first team, and then going off doing B team stuff ready for your match at the weekend. You're not in the Manchester United frame of mind, that mindset. You might go to a Wigan or a Luton or a Barnsley or something like that, and they've got a different culture. But when you're in a B team that's playing in league football, that's still Manchester United. You're still wearing that shirt. You're still embedded in that culture of Manchester United. We would raise hell with a B team. I know for a fact that if they was played on alternate days, most of the hardcore away support would probably go and watch the B team home and away as well, just for the crack, and it'd be absolutely fantastic, storming up and down League 2, League 1, League 3. It'd be mint. It'd be such a good time, and we'd see great local lads fighting for the shirt, demanding a first team spot. And when someone's playing well in the under-21s at the moment, you're looking at them and you're going, what are you going to do, mate? This is the under-21s. You're just playing against other academy players. It's all right, but there's no edge to it, is there? There's definitely going to be an edge when a United B team rocks up at Ellen Road, and it's going to be off it, and it's going to be absolutely fantastic. And I see no better proving ground for 18, 19, 20-year-old players, because if you go to Ellen Road against a hostile Leeds crowd and you play your football and you put in a good shift and the manager's watching you, well, you're going to be rocketed into the first team. No more of these under-18s, under-21 games where they're just not competitive enough. A B team in competitive football, in the English football professional pyramid, would be absolutely fantastic for these players. We would develop better footballers. They would develop better characteristics and character traits. They would be coming into the first team 18, 19, 20, 21 years old with 100 games under their belt, where they've played competitive football the Manchester United way in a Manchester United team against hardened veterans of the sport, and they would go straight into the first team and probably not skip a beat, and it'd be absolutely fantastic. Now, I don't know how you only limit that to maybe 4 B teams, because it's not really fair on the others that have maybe worked hard on their academy and would like to enter this as well. So I don't know how you would regulate that and make it fair, but I would love to see it. I think the four big clubs that I mentioned, United, City, Arsenal and Chelsea, maybe you include an elite status for the academy. There's currently different levels of the academy that you can attain. Maybe you develop an elite academy thing. Maybe there's a reward for producing players for the England national team, that you have to maintain a certain number of players over a certain number of years in the English national team that have come through your academy to maintain the B team status, something like that. But either way, all I know is that this proposal, it might not go through. All the clubs have got to be unanimous on it, I think. And there's 3 points that they need to vote on. How promotion and relegation is going to operate in the 18-19 season to form the new divisions. And I think that's going to be the sticky situation, especially those who think that they might go down. Where the extra teams come from. Now, I've just said that's what I'd love to see. I'd like to see, let's open 2 spaces up to the conference. Let's open up 2 to 4 spaces. 2 to 4 spaces for the conference, 2 to 4 spaces for potential B teams. If there's any clubs that would love to add that, and I would be devastated if Manchester United was given this opportunity and turned it down. And then 3. And I would like to see Rangers and Celtic apply for this as well, because I think for the good of British football, it would be, although potentially the Scottish leagues may suffer initially from it. I think the TV money at least would suffer incredibly in Scottish football initially. Now, point 3, the impact any changes are going to have on the National League and the opportunities to standardise promotion and relegation to 3 places. So that's going to be where it's exactly the same going through all the leagues, and all the playoff systems are going to be exactly the same. That's the 3 things that they need to vote on. I'm not sure when they actually have to vote on those, actually. And the benefits and the changes that they're looking to see include a winter break, removal of FA Cup replays, consideration to be given to moving some of the rounds of the FA Cup to midweek, which I'm not actually a fan of. I think FA Cup should be kept during the weekend, because I think that's the prestige of the FA Cup. I think you're watering down the FA Cup if you do that. And the future of the Community Shield. I don't see an issue with the Community Shield. No one takes it mega serious today. It's a nice way to reintroduce the season. For me, it's one game. It's one game played at Wembley. It's a nice day out. There's no pressure generally on people for it. I think it's a good thing. So I would like to see that. And I know the FA use it for rewarding coaches and community leaders and volunteers and stuff like that. So I would like to see the Community Shield kept. But I think this is a really exciting proposal. And I hope I'm reading it the right way. In the fact that B teams could come in, potentially the 2 major Scottish clubs could come in, because I think that's going to make it a really exciting pyramid of English football. I am a Manchester United fan, but I do care for the lower level of English football, because for me, if you take away the legs of the pyramid of English football, the 10 levels of English football, you're left with a lock-in league at the top, like American sports, and it's not about that for me. It is about the dream of taking Wimbledon, the original Wimbledon, taking them from the bottom to the top and playing against the big boys. It's teams like Bournemouth coming all the way up and being competitive. Even the likes of Leicester. This doesn't happen in a franchise league where there's no issue about relegation. You come bottom, we'll do better next year. No, it's more brutal than that in English football and generally European football across the board. And that's the way I like it. I wouldn't like to see that changed. Part of me does think that there's probably too many football clubs below the 100, but again, that's the dream. The 10 levels is the dream, and obviously it'd be 11 levels with the introduction of this league. Tameside, where I'm from, there's so many clubs. Let me see if I can try and name all of the clubs in Tameside. So you've got Droylsden, you've got 2 Ashton clubs, it might be 3. So you've got Curzon, you've got United, and I'm sure there's an Albion, or there was an Albion. You got Mosley, Glossop, Hyde. I think Denton has a team. That's a ridiculous number of football sides, semi-professional football sides, to be playing in one tiny borough of Manchester. And then obviously not too far away, we've got Salford, we've got Altrincham, we've got FC United. We've just got Main Road. We've got so many football teams in and around Manchester as just one tiny area. Now, I'm going to say I think any of these clubs deserve to falter, because I wouldn't like to see that, but there are probably too many football clubs in such a small area. I think some of them could pool resources and probably do a lot better job bringing youngsters into their first teams. Because I think a lot of that pyramid really struggles with academy players. Good academy players get taken to Premier League and Championship teams, and there's not really any of these teams bring through academy players. Maybe that's something that they could look at. But for the top 5 leagues now, it's going to be the 100 professional clubs at the top of the game. I think this restructuring is really exciting. And I know it doesn't technically affect the Premier League at all, apart from potential B teams. I really like the idea of it. I definitely like the idea of this. So, thank you for watching. Nice little bit of content and a bit of discussion for tonight, I think. Bang it in the comments. What do you guys think? Let's talk about B teams. Is it plausible? Would you like to see it? Who would you like to see do it? And am I barking up the wrong tree, or do you think I've got it right in how that would be deployed and how a young player could develop over a 4, 5, 6 year apprenticeship with playing first team regular football week in, week out, and going to the likes of Nottingham Forest and Leeds United and grounds like that with snarling home fans? I think it'd be fantastic. Bang it in the comments. Would you like to see Rangers and Celtic, and where do you think they would come? And anything else that you want. Thank you for watching, and do you know what? Let me just pull it up. Let's see where we're at. We are at 9,750 plus in terms of subs. This close. Might do it this weekend with a decent preview and some stuff on Saturday for the final. I'm excited now. I'm going to have a lazy day tomorrow. I've got a preview to upload for my channel. The one for Full Time Devil's probably going up anytime now. I've got the weigh-ins for MMA Latest to record and upload tomorrow, and then that's me, done, ready for the weekend, ready for the final. So thank you for watching once again. That's it. Thanks. That's it. Cheers. Like, subscribe, comment. Peace.